Hi, I'm back for this month's comic pricing competition where I test my machine learning algorithm's ability to predict the sales price of comics at various auctions. And this month we have a new challenger for me to test against.
My wife, PhD, theoretical mathematician, using GPAnalysis. Then there's me, cranky old man, likes to goof around with algorithms, using machine learning. And then tried and true, we got cover price, which is the default for Comic Connect. It should be a fun competition.
Again, I tried to pick challenging books, but we're only compare the results for cover price and for GP analysis on the ones that they are good at. We also got a mix of older and newer books, ones where the cover is primarily the value or whether the key elements of the value. Anyway, we'll just go down and look at the results of all the books that I bid on or watched or sold or bought. So I'll just scroll down to the summary here. And so without delay, we can see this month 531 total books. So I just keep upping it. My result was 31.98 error ratio. So that is a ratio of the amount off to the price of the book across all the possible books, which is actually quite good. Cover price got a 102% ratio, for example. And that's across 442 books. They were missing 89 books where they didn't feel they had enough data to give an estimate. And then my wife plus GPAnalysis did much better at a ratio of 52.45, looking at 343 books. So she was missing 188, where she either felt she didn't have enough data to make a good guess or a good estimate, or in some cases, like raw books, that GPA doesn't do raw books. So not counting that against the algorithm, we're just not tracking that part of the data for GPAnalysis. And so they got, now my machine learning, when I only look at the book's GPAnalysis, I got a 32.72. So about the same as the 31.98. So overall, I'm very happy. I was not at all confident I could beat a theoretical mathematician armed with GPAnalysis. All the best data plus a good math mind. No match for my machine learning algorithm, at least this month. Hopefully she'll agree to do it next month also, though it took her a long time to look it up. GPAnalysis is an awkward site for looking up data. They don't have the picture, so it's hard to make sure you get the exact variant right and all that kind of stuff. All right, it was fun to see the results. Now I guess we can move on to looking at all the books I got. And this time I'll try to show you what price all the systems estimated what price it got on a book by book basis, see if I got a good deal.
There we go. Should be all set up. Let's see what I got. First I'll show off a few raw books I got. Got this just fun cover here. Army of Darkness, Good Memories, I think this was $3, and a couple of Scotty Youngs. I pick up a cheap Scotty Young whenever I can. $3. This one's fun. Yeah, I enjoy that. Benamore is okay. They're supposed to be near mint, though. I noticed there's a little funk on the corner on this one. Still fun books. I don't mind too much. Usually I get these from my comic book store. They're pretty good at grading usually. I don't mind on a cheap book if they mess up a little bit every once in a while. Got this Strange Academy 17 and a 9.6. It's a variant cover CBCS. I got this off of eBay. A lot of what I'm looking for just to help test the algorithm. CBS slab is not that common. Signatures. So this should be a good test, and it's a fun book to have. And Fantastic Four. Fun cover. And it shouldn't be that valuable a book. Not great, I don't think. But now I almost only have Marvel, but since I'm trying to expand the test of my algorithm into basically all comics, I'm trying for some less common ones. This Beavis and Butthead #1. Shout out to my wife. I thought, or she saw it when she was looking up things on GPAnalysis. Thought she was going to get a kick out of it because she references Beavis and Butthead every once in a while, as do all of my generation. But she was not a fan. So this one might go hit eBay. Definitely not going to be on the wall. early Fantastic Four, 12 center, only in a 4.0, but not bad. Silver Surfer, Galactus, all good stuff. I'm trying to collect Strange Tales. It's one of the ones that I collect that go earliest. This is from 66 and a 7.0. Nick Fury. It's a fun one to collect because they're not that expensive given their age. Got early Doctor Strange, a lot of interesting early stuff. Well, here's an unusual one that's a good test for the algorithm. Snagglepuss, the CBCS signed. I remember the Snagglepuss exit stage left from childhood cartoons, but this is actually in reference to early famous playwright, one of the earlier gay icons, I think. Interesting book. I like the cover. Another in the test of straying outside the Marvel books. This is Dark Horse Stranger Things #1. One of the first series that my eldest son, who does not like to watch movies or TV, suggested we watch together. So that's a fun memory. Fun show, at least in the early seasons. Sabretooth #1 signed. The cover does not look that good online. It's hard to see some of the detail work on the online pictures going on there, with Sabretooth peeking out. Strange Adventures 211 from DC Comics 68, signed 3.5. I don't know anything about Strange Adventures or Dead Man. I kind of like the cover. I'll learn more about them now that I own one. And another thing I don't know very much about that I got in the signature is this FF1 9.6, signed by Laura and Michael Allred. The Strange Adventures signed by Neil Adams, so that's cool. I think that's one of his early cover and artwork books. When I think about this FF1, it wasn't that expensive for a signature book, and I noticed the signature books sometimes you can get real deals on. I think people don't know how to price them very well, since the major services are awkward to look that up on. You can look it up on GPAnalysis, and my wife spent a lot of work on that for this month, but you're still not getting very many examples, particularly if you want to match who signed it and the exact book and the exact everything. So I think my algorithm gives me an edge in that area. And we got Archie Christmas Spectacular. Oh my goodness. No, I think about that. Pretty girl covers. May end up selling this one pretty soon, but it's an interesting test for the algorithm and these less common cover-oriented purchases. I like getting the pretty road covers more, though I haven't been able to get one at a low price yet. I can see the appeal of the Archie cover. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars #11, 9.6. I'm trying to get all of those in 9.8. I already think I have that one in 9.8, but this was price wasn't too bad. And another of the straying out of Marvel adventures. Got Man-Thing. Oh no, this is Marvel. I was thinking something else. Man-Thing in Fear #10. I think this is beginning of this becoming a Man-Thing title. So considered the first solo series starting around here. All right, here's an interesting one. I wasn't sure how it would look. These fancy foil covers are a little hard to tell in pictures how they're going to look in real life. Not sure if you can tell on camera that well either. Pretty cool. I really like the Army of Darkness references. It's fun to see Ash. And after all these years. And Red Sonja is always fun. I showed off a new Red Sonja #1 signed from last month. I don't know what I think about the green tint on this variant cover. But I don't know. Fun book. Pay a little more than I usually do, as recommended by my algorithm for covers I like. So we'll see how that turns out over time. How to value just cover attractiveness is an interesting algorithmic thing. I think I'd like to get a few people to help me judge cover attractiveness. Get some crowdsourcing on that. That would be fun to experiment with. Right now, I'm just going off my own opinion. So what if #8? I'm trying to get all the what ifs in #8 from volume 1. Hopefully my wife has not done the math on how much that will cost ultimately. Now that she's helping me price things. That is a risk, but at least you can see we're getting some eBay sales and it's all going to work out. Getting some deals. Try not to look at the amount of money going into keepers, please. Avengers 133. 8.0. I don't know if that's considered a junk book, right on the edge. Junk book being a junk slab. I think they define that as a slab where the sales value of the slab is less than the cost of slabbing, or darn close. And might be in that category. I don't care though, as long as I'm not the one slabbing it. I think these are, we've delved into some I got from Comic Link. I had a perfect Comic Link purchase this month in that I got, I think, exactly 20 books. It was right at the cutoff, $55 shipping, which is an okay price for 20 books for my mind. I just don't want to get like 3 books from them, which is always a risk. When you're bidding on stuff, you don't know how many you're going to win. You have to pay pretty high shipping per book in that case. Avengers 214 now, 9.6. That's more in the worth slabbing category. Nice white cover. It's a little bit of an odd Avengers book here. Annual 21, 9.6. I don't know what to think of it. Wasn't too expensive though. I'll probably resell it. Just use the whole process for data. And if I have a hard time reselling any of these Avengers books, I don't mind. I like the Avengers. Next, I got a bunch of well-priced Black Panthers from the 70s. Black Panther number 3. 9.4. These are kind of cheap books, I find. Not sure why. Guess people aren't trying to put Black Panther runs together very often. And, number 4 and a 9.4. As much as they are like Spider-Man and such. I don't know. Kind of cool though, I think. I would have thought that interest in the character would have spiked a lot since they had some pretty good Marvel movies early on. Black Panther 8 and a 9.4. And I've been getting these off and on, and I get a decent price on eBay for them, I found. But it just takes some time to sell. This one, I'll show you some of the annoying characteristics of Comic Link. Black Panther number 10 here. But oh, it's fine and dandy, 9.4. Packaging was pretty good. I don't know if you can see though, the back, Comic Link puts the sticker. And that sticker is kind of hard to get off and it leaves a residue. So you'd think that they would know how annoying collectors would find that. I've developed a process for getting it off without leaving a mark, but it's annoying. They don't do it on all the books. Like here's Black Panther 11. I kind of like the cover, the axe. You can see the back of the book. No, this one doesn't have any problems, right? No sticker. Yeah, I mean, it takes me a few minutes to get it off, even with the process. Okay, it's not nearly as annoying now that I know I can get it off without a mark. I wish they just either wouldn't put the sticker on or they'd put the sticker on the bag or something. Develop it easier to get off sticker. Amazing Spider-Man 649, 9.6. Very cheap book. Cover does not look that good online. It's much better in person. I think this style where you have artwork within the lettering, you can't really see the artwork unless you're in person. So it just looks like all you have is lettering, which is not as interesting a cover. Same theme for Amazing Spider-Man 650. So it looks decent in person, not a great cover. Good price though. These two I think I'm going to put on eBay and see. That way I'll have 2 pieces of data on their sales, one from when I buy it, one from when I sell it. Help refine the importance of the cover. Need to get some covers I like, some covers I don't like. See the impact and the pricing from the algorithm's perspective. There's a nice cover though. That Blood Hunt number 1. Nice Black Panther up front. 9.8. It's a Delato cover. He's a very fun artist. This one's signed by Pepe Larraz, I think. Who did the interior artwork? There's an Avengers 149. 1.4. Not bad for a 76 book. It says off-white to white pages. They don't seem to be very consistent on that stuff. I've seen some kind of faded browning books. They get a white. That one looks pretty good. I think it's just one of those areas they're not very regular on compared to the overall grading process. We got 9.8. Now that's what I'm talking about. It's later Avengers 1990. I don't think it holds the same value as some of the the Amazing Spider-Man books from the 90s. Oh, one of my favorite Brother Voodoo titles, which I started liking as a character more when he started showing up in Strange Academy. I think that was his last appearance in Strange Tales. Those comics, I've read them. They're not that great. But a lot of the older comics aren't that great, really. Not as bad as some of those early X-Men, which are super weird. Professor X lusting over his female students. Oh my god, that's so weird. Those are some of those early books. Early Fantastic Four, pretty boring too. Thor 129 from 66 into 7.5. Trying to collect some Thor. Nice cover. So this might be a keeper for me. Problem with collecting in slab is it takes up a lot of room. Here we have an early Doctor Strange 15. They call this Volume 2, but Volume 1 was just like the last few issues of Strange Tales, starting on issue 177 or something weird like that, for switching over. And a Doctor Strange 16, 9.6. Most series I don't worry about trying to get all the 9/8 and stuff. I just get the best grade I can that's bargain. Other than just a couple of things, like I'm trying to get all the what ifs in the 9.8. For the other series I collect, it's just best I can get at a good price. Captain Marvel number 3, Brie Larson photo cover. Some of those from the bad movies, like Thor, Dark Thor, I don't remember what the movie name is. Gets the Dark Elves, which was not a good movie. And they have a movie homage cover, and I cannot sell that thing. People don't want the memories. But I like the Captain Marvel movie. I know that's not a popular online opinion. Can't believe the general public didn't like it. I mean, it sold huge numbers. Someone must have liked it. Doctor Strange number 12, 9.6. There we go. That's all the books I got this month. Hopefully, overall, it was a good buying session. It looked that way from the preliminary numbers I looked at. And that's good, because I sold a lot of comics this month, and I like to try to keep an equilibrium. Buy, sell about an even number of comics. Just kind of keep rotating what I'm displaying in the house. It's fun. I'll see you guys for a video next month, I guess.